Most spike plates do extend past the metatarsal heads, even for long distance spikes. In this episode of Building My Own Track Spikes, I'm going to show you how I designed the spike plate of the shoe. Now the spike plate is just a piece of plastic on the sole that connects all the spikes to the shoe. So let's go check out the 11th design I've put together in 3D modeling software. Okay, the first feature, the first design choice is this is a half-length spike plate. Now here you see I've traced out the sole of the Altra Vanish R, which is just an Altra racing shoe. And as you can see, it extends about halfway through the foot. So the actual profile, once it's cut out, it will extend about halfway through my foot. Most spike plates do extend past the metatarsal heads, even for long distance spikes, and this will just increase the effective rigidity by a little bit. The other feature of this is the base of the plate is 1 millimeter thick. This will be the part that bends the most when I flex the foot, and a thickness of 1 millimeter is about the right balance of rigidity and flexibility for PLA material at least, and similar for nylon material. If I made it any thicker, the plate might be a little too rigid, or it might break more easily. And if I make it thinner, then it won't be rigid enough. The other feature is the 6 spike receptacles. Now, this should be good for holding 6 spike pins. And that's typical of a shoe that's good down to 800 meters. I do want this shoe to perform at 800 meters pretty well. And the actual receptacles for the nuts that the spikes go in, they are thicker than the rest of the plate because like the actual screw threads extend more than just 1 millimeter in thickness. And I can't have them extending out to the other side of the plate like this, because then they would just pierce the bottom of my feet. It's better to have a flat plate or a mostly flat plate, or else I would probably get blisters with the protrusions eating into my feet. The other feature is how there's a slight curve from one side to the other. This will just increase the smoothness as I transition from foot strike to toe off. And when people run, they'll land more on the outside of the foot and roll to the inside. So it's rounded just a little bit to accommodate for that rolling. And this rounding is present in most spikes, so I figured that'd be a good feature to implement. It's also curved from front to back. It'll cause that toe up kind of posture, which is prevalent again in a lot of track spikes. And it's supposed to put you up on your toe. So the last feature is the horseshoe plate design. This horseshoe design it's present in some spike plates, namely the Nike Matumbo and maybe some others. What this will do is it'll increase flexibility by just a little bit. The main reason I wanted it is so I didn't have to print support material under this whole section, because due to its curved shape, the plate needs to be printed with a lot of support material underneath it. So this saves a lot of print time and material by completely omitting this center section. It'll still take 6 hours, 24 minutes to print, but it would probably take at least 2 hours longer if I left this section filled in. So I've made these design decisions based off of what I've seen in a lot of spike plates, particularly for mid-distance and distance spikes. I've looked at the Nike Zoom Victory 3 a lot. I've looked at the New Balance MD800, which was my favorite spike in high school. And just the things I've learned looking at them, I figured they would be good to apply when I was designing my own plate. I do also need something under the heel. I can't just leave the heel foam exposed. Pretty much all non-sprinting spikes always seem to have something at the heel to add a little more traction, as well as to protect the foam. This heel traction consists of a thin layer that's 0.4 millimeters thick. That'll account for at least 2 layers of 3D printing, and the reason for this layer is just to provide a good surface to glue to the foam. And on the other side, we have this pattern of traction. All these little protrusions or teeth are just going to grip the track a little more when my heel is touching the ground, even if it's not for that long. Okay, I'm going to print the spike plate and the heel section, but until then, I'm going to show you the progress I've made on a wearable pair for a prototype. I've cut out a couple new soles and started shaping them up. So that means this is the first time I'm making an actual pair rather than just one shoe. And that's as far as I've gotten for this video. If you want to see more, go ahead and check out my channel, and maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss future content. But until then, I've been The Will Stall, and stop wearing elf shoes.
Y'all are wearing elf shoes, elf shoes, elf shoes, elf shoes, elf shoes, elf shoes.